Howdy, welcome back. We're part 2. Well done if you made it to part 2 and you haven't fucked it off in part 1. What are we doing today, I hear you cry? Today, we're going to pull some frets. I don't know why I'm standing like that. Still don't know what to do with my hands. Put them in my pocket, safe in the pocket. Going to pull some frets. If the board, I don't think we're going to, but if the board is straight enough, we'll look at radius in it and getting that tidied up. I've got a funny feeling there's going to be too much backbone to really sand out because it would put a noticeable divot in the binding. If that's the case, we'll get the heat press out and we'll just stick this in the heat press, and it can probably dig the inlays out, and I can just sit in the heat press for a week. Cycle it a few times, get that flatter, then we can go and look at radius in the neck and getting some frets in it and whatnot. Off camera, I sanded the body out. It's just to 100 grit in a minute, just to get it so we can see what we're dealing with. Front's come up alright. Got most of the big scratches out. The back and the ends, there's a lot of big things in there. I'll come to you, hang on. There you go, look at the state of them. Hopefully that's focusing. I have to peer around the back to see if it's focused. Yeah, there's sanding those out is gonna take quite a lot out of the back of the thickness and probably make it quite flimsy, so we don't really want to do that. That's all that crack. At some point, I don't know what that is, maybe epoxy, but something's been rebuilt in there. That's not the best, but it's stable, but it's okay. There's no cleats inside, but I don't think we need one. It's a shame because it's quite a nice piece of maple on the top and the back, but it's so beat up we're going to have to spray it. But yeah, there's that. I'll probably get my phone out and jig it up a bit differently so you can see what I'm doing with the frets, because that's a bit far away and I need to buy a different lens and they're expensive, so I'll use my phone. Right then, let's pull some frets. Things we're going to need: buy the Hosco pliers. You can buy cheap ones or you can grind them yourself. They're all a bit rubbish. Just buy a half decent set, save yourself a lot of headache. Really strong soldering iron. Cut yourself a little groove into it. It sits on the fret a bit easier. Cotton bud, little pot of water. I don't know what the number is, but the curved scalpel blades. They run down the edge of the fret a bit easier. At some point, I think this has been lacquered and sprayed over, so rather than just going hammer and tong and pulling the frets out, we're going to heat them out. I know we've got to do a lot of work to it, but there's no point in making more work for myself. Gosh. Right. Bit of water. Stick it down there like that. Grab hold of your soldering iron. Make sure you got it the right way up. Leave it on there for a second. You'll see the water start to like evaporate off. And you get the funky smell when it burns off all the crap holding the fret in place. He says it stops chips, but then you get a first thing, he gets a chip. Yeah. While we're looking at that, gosh, right. These have definitely been glued, there's finish up the sides, there's all kinds of stuff. All over that board. And a lot of chip out under all the frets on this side. Well, the first two anyway. So it looks like at some point someone might have already done. Whether they've pulled the frets out, tried to sort something out, maybe when they were redoing that, load a chip out and then just glued them back in place, because there's not really much of a tang on these old frets to lock them in place. Yeah, so we might have to put a bit of that Teflon dam stuff and rebuild the edge of the fret slots on a few of these. We'll just add it to the list of things we need to do, won't we? Getting quite a long list now, isn't it? But I'm probably just going to speed this up, because listen to me chat shit and pull another 18 frets is going to be quite dull, isn't it? So we'll just do push fast forward. Right, that's them pulled out. This board is a state though. Safety first. Unplug the hot thing, because I forget I left it on. Someone's definitely sprayed over this thing at some point. The first three frets definitely. They've been out before. And it looks whoever put them back in was super heavy-handed when they reset them. There's a load of chip out. You guys see that? There's a load of chip out on the first three. And then really deep dents in there as well. So I think they've just been super heavy-handed and beat the snot out of that bit. So we'll have to do some repairs there. Probably going to have to do some binding repairs as well, because they've cut the slots to the edge of the black. So it's white, black, white. White, black, white binding. Here we go. Say the word, Simon. And it's cut right up against the outside white. And I want it to look nice and clean and crisp. So I might have to do a few little binding touch-ups and bits and pieces while we got the frets out. And then when we actually put the frets in, go back through it and just touch up around the edges, because I'm probably going to have to put a bit of clear coat and fake some age into it once I've done anyway, because we kind of want to keep it looking vintage, so probably going to shoot a bit of amber over it. Are they going to come out? No. Let me turn this off, turn this back on, and then we'll get them out. Right then. There's a lot of big things in this board. Let's see if we can get some inlays out. Let's do all the actual inlays, and we'll save the fifth and third for last, because they might just be getting a chisel. Got on the line, Simon. Here we go. Right. This works for pulling out dents as well. Bit of rag, some water, and a hot soldering iron. Don't do an actual finish though, because you'll fuck the finish. But hopefully this will soften the glue and we can pop the inlay out. Just like that. Right, repeat some more times. It's exciting being a luthier, isn't it? Ooh. What's everyone listening to? I've had the new Counterparts EP on recently. Quite like that. Tell you what, I was quite disappointed about though was the latest Better Lovers album. I really enjoyed the singles and the first EP. Didn't really like the album though. Just my thoughts, innit? As these are coming out, they're bringing up. I think from the factory they've cut these quite deep, and then their inlays are quite thin because they've got a bit of inlay, then a bit of maple sat on the back side of them. But my granddad's thrilled that I'm using his old chisels to dig shit out the bottom of inlay channels. Sorry, Paul. Right, let's have a look at whatever the fuck's in there. Because it's not epoxy. It's plaster. Someone's just banged fucking filler in them. Oh, goody gumdrops. Oh. Eyes. Well, bonus it's not epoxy, because that would have been a right pain in the arse to get out. Let's see if we can get that. Bit of maple or plywood, whatever it is underneath there, just to release. Then we've got everything out. Eyes. Well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. Happy days. Check where the neck was, that's what we were doing, wasn't it? Not actually too bad down down the treble end, it's the bass end, it drops off quite a bit. So let's just knock the nut out of the way. Easy as that. We'll get the heat press out, see if we can't just pull this up a little bit more. Because that's, I don't know, probably 1.5 mil, 2 mil. I don't really want to take 2 mil out of this end of the board to get down to there. So let's see if we can heat press it, and then we'll go from there. Behold, the redneck heat press. What are they called? Aria, however you want to say that. Used to make one way back in the 80s, I think it was. If you can find one come up for sale, they're quite expensive. There was a company in the US that started making them, but again, they're quite expensive. But you can do it with any flat bar. I seen dudes do it with like just a piece of mild steel and iron and some clamps. This is just a piece of aluminium tube, a acoustic side bending blanket stuffed in it, taped at one end, and some clamps. But it does the job just fine. Normally, you would I use coffee stirrers to offset it and to get me where I need to be. You would have them at either end or in the middle, and then you bend to where you need it to be. But because I need the top to come up, or the headstock, I've blocked it down at this end with a couple of stirrers, and then just a clamp down this end that we can raise up a little bit. I've seen a video with Mr. Woodford working out actual maths, how to do things. I've never had good results to try and actually work it out. I've got better results with adjusting the shims I'm using and working it out that way. Because as soon as you take the clamps off, they seem to relax or go back a little bit. So, but we'll leave this video there. I'll let this heat and cycle a few times, unclamp it, see where we've got it to, and then in the next one we can chat about radius in the board, plugging some holes in that bad boy. Yeah, thanks for watching. All the things the YouTuber is supposed to say: like, comment, and subscribe. Just did a sick in my mouth.